So the meeting is called to order and as I said, Mark was unable to attend, so I'm a fill-in tonight. The first thing I'd like to do is look at the minutes. Did anyone have a chance to go over them? And does anybody have any corrections or comments?
On item D, trustees report, on the motion that Maria made to approve $1,000 payment. We should insert from unrestricted funds.
Thank you, because I had a question about that.
You just put it at the end, parentheses or something?
Just how about
$1,000 payment from unrestricted funds for the Masconomet Scholarship. So we'll just insert from unrestricted funds.
And so I wasn't here trust me, I was very happy to have to miss this meeting. It was a wonderful vacation. But that was my question, because I believe last year we decided that for various reasons, we would not be giving a scholarship.
This was the last one.
This year was the last year, but in closing out the account, it wasn't accounted for this $1,000.
Okay, okay. So this is the last year and from unrestricted funds.
And which is a question that both Masco and Essex Tech know that there is no more Flint Library scholarships.
I'm not sure, so I will confirm with both guidance departments.
Good idea. You don't want them to put the students through something and we don't have it. You're right.
I think that's important.
Yeah, it's definitely important. I think we must have done that, but just in case.
Yeah,
No, just double check.
But we may have told them, they may have forgotten.
Yeah. Or
It's
change it.
getting to that
Right.
point in the calendar where they'll
You're-
start
you're
thinking
absolutely
about it.
Correct, and let's not put out any more applications. I guess that's the
Well,
point.
I think they were doing it
Okay.
internally, so they, but it's best to double check.
I'll remind them.
Jackie will definitely take care of
Okay,
that.
good correction. Any other comments?
No. Only thing, it's not a comment on changing anything in the minutes per se, but under item C, under the Friends of the Flint, the last bullet, which says Ms. Wilton reported the Fidelity account balance is $262,077.66. And I think it's something to be discussed later, but I hadn't seen that before. That was because I had brought it up and asked just, what the asset total was of the Friends. So I'm just looking to talk about that when we get to the Friends, I guess, about having that in there on a regular basis and maybe an accounting of where that stands each month. So that's all, no changes to it, but just.
Okay, no changes to the.
Just want to have a discussion about it when we get there,
Okay, good.
because I had brought it up, I know you weren't there, but
I
that's
wasn't.
why it's there, I had brought it up,
Okay,
asking about the assets, the
okay,
total assets.
but no correction to that.
No,
Okay,
thank you.
all right, thank you. Susan, anything to, no?
I make a motion to accept the minutes of November 10th, 2025,
That's amendment.
as amended.
As amended. Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Did we pass on the 16th already?
The what? Where are you looking? I'm sorry, Sue.
Approval of minutes on September 16th, 2025 also.
I did not
We
receive.
don't have that.
We got those right after the last meeting, but I can resend them if you wanna hang on.
Oh, because I can't discuss that because I didn't see that.
Yeah, it says approval of minutes for trustees meeting
Yeah.
on September 16th,
And November 10th.
2025, November 10th,
Good point.
2025.
Yeah, then we have
December
November
meeting.
10th that we just dealt with.
Right,
So good point. I just got this all at the last minute as I was getting ready to teach a class, so I didn't have time, but appreciate you bringing that up.
We'll have to move it to the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll just put it on the next agenda. I'm sorry about that. I'll
That's okay.
resend them.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, all right. And again, I feel a little bit out of water because I was not at the last meeting. So, we are still electing a treasurer, it seems. Celesta?
Not on the last agenda, so
Wasn't
we
supposed to
need to
be.
clean it up.
Oh, it's just, okay. So can I have a motion? Costa, was there anything you wanted to say about this role?
I make a motion to have Costa hold that position as treasurer
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Thank you.
unanimous, thank you.
Madam Chair, you do need to ask the applicant if he accepts.
I did.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that part, so I just wanted to double check.
No, I did.
Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Okay, Annie. Welcome to the meeting, you're on board.
Thank you. For FY 26, the membership annual campaign is currently at $6,300.
Excuse me.
And the majority of those funds are from the Kirby's, who have given designated specifically for children's programming. We did send out our reminder postcard for people who've given in the last 3 years, but hadn't given this year, and we received $1,650 from that mailing. And the mailing only cost us like $52, so it was well worth it.
Did I see that reported in the last minutes? Yes.
Yes, it is, but
Yes.
it's different. She's given different, an update.
So can you tell, so like I said, I missed last meeting, so can you refresh my memory what the changes are?
She's just giving the totals.
What?
It's 40, right here's Alice.
So it's the same,
No, 40, what are you looking at?
I'm looking at the minutes, so it's 1,600 with a.
No, you look at your. This here, it was 4850, see this here? The minutes?
Yeah,
4850 right
Yeah.
there,
yeah,
and 1600, so
Right.
it's gone from 4850 to the. Was it 6300, right?
oh, so that's where the 63 comes from.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then it was 1600 in the prior month, Annie, and an additional 50 from the mailer? Annie? Is that right?
The 1650 is the revenue that we gained from sending out the postcard mailing.
Right. And it
We
was,
have $6,300 from the annual campaign, the majority of which is from the Kirby's, which is for children's programming. And then the additional funds are from July until we send out the postcard mailing, which is just people sending in.
no, I'm sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding. It's on the minutes from last month, you said,
Well, I didn't see the minutes because nobody sent them to me, so.
oh, sorry.
They were attached to the town
It said,
posting.
I can
think
give
they're-
you mine. if you
I
want
tried
it.
to download from the town, but I couldn't. It
Oh.
wouldn't let me download it yet.
I can give you my copy if you want, if it helps you for the rest of the meeting too, I don't know. But it says that Ms. Wilton shared the remainder postcards mailed to past donors as of 11/10/2025 was 1600. So now you just said 1650, was it a difference of $50 from that?
That's right.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then last time when you report, just because you said you don't have it in front of you, you had said the campaign brought in thus far 4,850. So now you're telling us 63. So that's the difference between then and last month to now. That's a good amount between the
Yes,
from one month to the other.
All right, so since last month, we got an extra $50 donations. which
But
is-
then, no, almost, and then another almost two from the.
Well, that's true, yeah,
Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, like I said, I'm just recouping from last month.
So we completed the winter cleanup for the landscaping, as I'm sure you can imagine, looking around the library. And the only other thing I have is that I was informed by the town clerk that it's unlikely that the library membership form will go out in the census in January, which is our primary way of marketing and soliciting funds for the town. So it's a huge disappointment.
And can you explain that change, Andy? What was it? Why was that change? If you could tell us. Since it's always been done that way for the most part?
Well, since I've been involved, which is 21 years,
Mm.
it has always been done.
Did she say why it wasn't gonna happen this year?
She is, she hasn't made a decision, is what she told me.
Oh, I thought you said she said no, but it's still. pending.
Well,
It's just unlikely.
Oh, unlikely, I'm sorry.
I'm like,
And
Okay.
she didn't kind of say what her thought was.
Well, as I'm sure you can imagine, I pressed her.
Yes, so what did she say when you pressed her?
She wouldn't answer.
Huh, okay.
So one of the things I'm gonna do on Wednesday, and we have a friends meeting on Wednesday, is to try to come up with some ideas so that we can tackle this,
If it doesn't happen,
make it, it's
Perhaps
highly unlikely that's.
Yeah.
if you maybe ask Meld if they would do an insert in
I, yeah,
their
thank you, that's a
monthly
great
bill.
suggestion.
Mel?
Meld,
the electric,
Electric-
electric time.
Would that
Danvers
be
does
brought
that.
to the select board
we don't have the authority to tell.
Yeah.
to ask?
The clerk is an independently elected
Okay.
position, so.
Okay.
There are also other mailings that may come along too. There's a lot of, mailings that they're required to do, even just with our move to the new municipal campus, there'll be more mailings than normally would be this year, so there may be other mailings as well.
No, the opportunities.
I just think, as Annie pointed out, that this is the main fundraising effort.
My understanding is that Neighbors in Need, because they're a separate nonprofit now, have, will likely be in this year's. Cause they are doing some build up with their reorganization. But there are other mailings that the town clerk's office does, so, as I mentioned to Annie, I'm hopeful that there are other mailings that the town clerk may
And
support.
Costa mentioned it, but Annie's on, said she's probably gonna look into
So,
that
I
too.
mean, we need to come up with a plan as a group.
The
We can't
friends,
rely on other people, we should have our own plan.
right. No, I'm saying that
If
Costa
something
brought up
comes
Meld.
through, we need to be able to reach out to
Yep,
people.
yep.
you know.
Okay, I'll put that question mark.
And then Annie, are you going to now provide like with this, what was in the minutes, as I mentioned, when we were going over that, the current, that, you call it the Fidelity account balance, but is that really like the Fidelity building? Because if I recall the
those are
last
only
meeting,
building.
that's only building, so that 262,000, which is a large sum, is that, you're gonna report on that every month to let us know where it stands, like, additional monies per se aren't going in there, it's more of the growth of, in the Fidelity account, correct?
Right,
There are no additional monies coming in at this point, it was when the
no.
building was being renovated, and it's grown since you put it in the accounts, which
Yeah,
is
as a matter
great.
of fact, it's at 266 now.
I'm sorry, 266,
266,000.
wow, that's great, wow, from last month. It was a good month last month, definitely.
So
But when do
you
you-
only get the
sorry.
interest,
Well, yeah,
Okay.
no, it's,
but no more additions to it?
no, it not, it
Well,
was
unless
from the
we did
building.
another, if the library wanted to do another capital campaign
Hmm.
related to the building, we probably would use that as the place to put the funds.
Mhm.
But since we invested the money in 2019, waited till the market tanked, then invested it into funds, and it's, I mean, we put $154,000 in,
Mhm.
and we
Yep.
spent 110.
Wow, very good.
So
Spent,
it's been, we've done very well, and actually very conservative.
Yep. I'm
We're
sure.
not being reckless.
So it'd be good to hear that if you could, Annie, just provide that number. It's nice to see it at each month, just maybe to hear where it's at. And then if anything is moved out of it, if you can just tell us, like, I'm making it up. Because we have, say, the clock or whatever comes up, can you tell us that it's coming from that fund versus the
I
campaign?
always do that.
Okay, just
I've always done that.
great, okay. Thank you.
so you just said a nice number, 110,000 was spent. Which, this year?
In the
No.
last 5 years since 2019, I presented that 5 months ago,
Mhm.
where I showed how much was spent each year for, I mean, it's like the refrigerator in the, unfortunately, the refrigerator that was in the staff room. I mean, it was 10 years old and it died, so we got a new refrigerator. So it's only items that are related to the building interior or on the edge of the building. So like if a tree or needs to be removed and a new one put in or something, that's how we spend those funds.
So as a
But
comment,
only
that-
building funds.
so I'm sorry to interrupt you. So that, when you say that, I'm looking at the item here, 2005 for landscaping and fall cleanup that you mentioned. Would that come out of that building fund?
Yes.
So, okay, that's good to know, because I
So that's
wasn't
how
sure.
we allocate the landscaping funds.
And
It comes out of the building funds.
Excellent.
good to know, because I wasn't sure. That's why I wanted to ask you about that. Thank you.
So my brain is going to the lighting issue we have. Jackie, what's going on with our lighting
That would
updates?
certainly be an
Bill,
issue. I mean, I don't know what the friends will vote on, but that would certainly be.
That would be something that could go under that.
Absolutely.
Wow. Excellent.
I mean, the
I
thing
could
that's
speak to
really
that
great
later.
is like the sign that's out front, the electric sign, that was the town. It was the trustees and it was the friends. And between the three of us, or three groups, we were able to fund, it was very expensive. So that's,
Well, we spent 110,000 in 5 years, so
yeah,
that is-
25,000 a year, am I mathematically correct there?
yes, it's a sum or less or more, but yes.
and the fund grew and got that back.
And it earned it back?
Well, maybe not completely.
Probably way back.
Yeah. Okay. It's kind of a pool of money I hadn't thought about before, so I only think of, you report the, for example, the 6,300,
Right, which is the annual campaign,
and that's separate from this,
totally.
totally. And that's the money, I'm
For
asking
programs.
a question, that's the money that's, used for programs when we have requests for program funds?
Correct.
Cause we could never go into this building fund for programs.
Mm-mm.
Gotcha. Okay,
Because the people who donated the money to us for the building. Donated it to us for the building,
right,
they didn't donate it for. Whatever goes on at the library or programming, whatever they're designated, so when everything was sort of done. We moved that money so that it could be kept, so someone puts a pencil through a chair or. A table needs to be refurnished or a chair falls apart.
so when the building was remodeled, this fund covered things like furniture and
It covered everything that's inside the library.
inside the
This
building.
thing, these lights,
Oh,
these tables, these chairs, this carpet, this paint.
our town is generous, I've always said that about Middleton, very generous now. Oh, sorry, I got caught up because I wasn't here, okay, thank you, Annie, anything else?
All set.
Okay, Jackie, trustees report is next, I guess. But we don't have anything, I don't have anything.
Then we can have nothing.
Okay, then
Okay.
then trustees report is handled. Boy, I did a good job.
That was a nice quick report, really impressed.
I used my time up already. So, Jackie, you're up.
Yes, thank you. So, to talk first, we're on track with the fiscal 26 budget. And I do wanna say that I have a preliminary fiscal 27 budget in front of you tonight. This is not an end all be all. I did hand them out. If you got it, it has a little bit of yellow and green highlight on it. So this is still an early draft. I have to submit a preliminary draft to the town on the 17th of December. But then we'll have continued meetings, and so I'm hoping to bring a final version to your early January meeting. This is also just the expense side of the budget. Capital is not due for some time, which are our greater expenses for the building and the infrastructure. And the other piece that this doesn't show is we're still costing out the fiscal 25-26 salary increases that we'll see at Maytown meeting for the union. And we have not completed bargaining with the unit either for fiscal 27. So please bear in mind that there are two numbers on this that are likely to change. And I'll address them as I go through. So in this spreadsheet, you'll see you have the fiscal 25 budgeted amount, fiscal 25 actual amount, the fiscal 26 budgeted amount, and my proposed fiscal 27 amount. This does see an overall increase on the expense budget, and as I would say, this is a minimum expense increase at this point. Where some of the expense increases lie are first in equipment repair. This is where we pull for our HVAC and elevator repairs, and as our HVAC system starts to age, the repairs start to increase. I'm working with our new facilities director, Peter Pullman, on an update to the service contract, as I've mentioned previously for the HVAC. But I want to expand that service contract to the second floor attic in the old historic part of the building. And that will have another cost increase. So I have done a plug of $800 for that. The other substantive increase on this budget line is for the MVLC annual membership dues. And those are going up pretty significantly this year. There's been a cap the past few years. We haven't seen a significant MVLC increase in many, many years. And so in the handouts from tonight, I gave you a handout that they provided to me on the value of the MVLC membership. So this is our consortium. This is the system that allows us to share in other books with other libraries. They also provide a number of other items. For example, our integrated library system, which is the ILS workflows. It's how we check in, check out, place holds. Basically, every transaction with a patron in a book has to go through that system. They also help us with our cataloging services. They provide Libby and Overdrive, which in and of itself is a $300,000 expense based on our fiscal 25 usage. They manage roughly $1,500 of databases and authentication. This is on average per library participation for training and consulting of $750. I can tell you this year I have exceeded that amount on your behalf. They don't charge us for when they come out and train, but we've brought MVLC out at least 3 or 4 times this year. We've had new staff. They've come out and done workflows training, cataloging training. The director of MVLC has worked with me on the ARIS reports and programming reports. So their support and partnership this year has been invaluable. And I can't say that enough. They help us with telecommunications, including providing some of our internet and calling services. They provide us networking support with part of our PC purchasing and installation for network management, particularly for the patron computers. Our staff computers are handled by in-house IT, but these are for patron computers. And then the cost of reciprocal borrowing, which they estimate, total cost of items Middleton patrons have borrowed from other libraries in the consortium at $390,000. So basically every dollar of this assessment, we receive roughly $20 in value. If they gave us all these services without the consortium, it would be roughly $117,000. So it's still a relatively good deal. And it's been roughly 10 years since the last time they increased our membership dues.
Wow.
It's a
And
big increase.
do you know, how do they calculate the assessment for different libraries?
I knew you were gonna ask Costa. Hang on, let me get my backup spreadsheet.
I mean, that's
You
a
need now,
exhibit, it's 41,242. I can give you this.
Sorry,
Annie, do you
I-
want? Oh, there she is. She has an extra one. That's, I mean, to go up almost 14,000.
Yeah, it's not insignificant and,
No, that's-
our
But
assistant,
once in 10 years.
No,
guess.
I think they're
that should be
definitely playing a bit of catch up. If they had collated it every year, it would have been much more reasonable.
they need to.
But, you know, my figure, yeah, are they applying the same metric to set the fee or the membership dues or whatever you call it for every library in the system? Or are they applying different criteria to different libraries?
I can't answer, but.
Yeah,
If you give me 1 second, I have an answer, Costa. I
My
just-
feeling, for example, when I look at this is when I look at reciprocal borrowing, the items Middleton borrows from other libraries means that our collection is missing some items that we should be owning so that our patrons can come get them here instead of having to go out of our library. So my hope is that with our new assistant director and a soon, fingers crossed, new director, that the collection development process will be adjusted correctly so that what Middleton patrons are looking for, we have. And we don't have to borrow from outside our network quite as extensively.
But how did they come up with that number then, that
So,
390,000?
I mean, so that's all within our network, and I will tell you some of the most common things that we see coming in the door we have a lot of book clubs in town and to get all the books for a book club, they have 12 members. We have to pull from other libraries in Merrimack Valley.
Question.
So I think that's one big area, and I would offer that Allison will certainly dig into that on the collection statistics, and I know our staff do. But some of the things that we do, it may be used once, so we might buy something for collection, it gets used a number of times. But if someone wants one thing, it's better to grab it
Oh,
from another library.
That's
than
what
to-
collection development is, someone making an
Yeah.
assessment of how useful something's going to be, but. I just think this is a number that's a little bit up. Based on the fact that we have been without a librarian handling collection development and weeding our collection appropriately. Even though it's been an ongoing process, I commend the staff, there's not a question about that.
I just wanna say that I think it's actually pretty average too for the size library we are with the other libraries in MVLC.
Okay.
I think, so Costa, to your, question first, the fiscal 27 operating assessment formula is based on the following statistics that are a intensive mathematical equation. It includes your average circulation from fiscal 23 to fiscal 25, and the percentage that circulation represents within the full consortium, meaning like how much we use the database that we all contribute to. It also takes the average of the fiscal 25 to fiscal 23 to fiscal 25 average items added together. It takes the full-time equivalent number for each library, so how many full-time equivalent staff members we have. So just
Budgeted or actual?
actual FTE, because I'm the one that calculates it, so it's not about. You can't count, you have to count your vacancies, but like 4 circus assistants are not 4 FTE,
I understand,
okay,
but it's the positions that are authorized, not the
Correct.
positions that are filled.
correct. And that's true for everybody.
Yeah.
The staffing percentage that you make up of the full consortium, which for us, for example, is roughly, if you add up every staff person, it's 2.05% of the full consortium, because they cover the staff emails. They take that percentage of those 3 figures, and that's how they determine your usage fee. And then everybody pays the base fee, which is $13,223. And then based on those 3 statistics, we have our usage fee, which is $22,410. Whereas a library, for example, the size of Andover's usage fee is $81,000. But somebody like Topsfield nearby is also about $22,062.
So I mean, they have a formula that they apply the same formula to every community in the
Yeah,
consortium.
you would actually love this spreadsheet. I think you'd have a really fun time. Cause you're,
But
I love
I
this
assumed that. You know, they might though, your point is well taken in that they might have had a different, for small libraries versus large libraries, something like that, but it looks like no.
and they had capped the usage number for a number of years, Costa, which is why we didn't see any pushing increases despite the increases that we've all had to salary and technology and things of that
Okay.
nature.
The other thing is, it's, I mean, 50% increase. That's not even legitimate in my mind, to charge an extra 50% from last year, $13,000 more from last
It
year.
is $13,000 more.
And that's 50%.
And they know it's gonna be controversial. They've sent, like, that's why we've gotten this handout.
Well, so they took the time to explain it to make us
Because-
swallow the pill.
Yeah, cause basically there's been a cap on the usage increase for a number of years. And if we don't adjust the formula this year as a full consortium, then it's gonna mean that there's gonna be less that we're gonna be able to do.
But everything is, well, in my mind, everything is negotiable. This, just because they tell you that 50% increase, I mean, who gives somebody a 50% increase?
But you know, if it's the same
Well,
formula for
but is it?
everybody will have
But is it?
about a 50%.
It is, I mean, I can share that document. It is the same formula for everybody. And it's based.
You know
on-
what other libraries are getting?
Yes, as I just said,
It's public.
yeah, so like, for example, let me just pull it back up.
Well, I don't know, that sounds kind of
Like,
outrageous to
so
me.
It's
50%.
divided over 10 years.
I don't care if it's divided over 10 years, 10 years is behind us.
I know, but it's like a 2% each year.
It doesn't make a difference, Allison,
Well-
then they should have charged. You don't hit people with a 50% increase after 10 years, that's your problem, that you didn't increase it.
So I will say just,
I mean, their problem, not yours.
mathematically, it's only, it's not 50%, it's 17% just based on the usage piece, so that everybody's base fee has stayed the same. Your
I'm
point's
looking at
well
the total.
taken.
Total's
No, your
total.
point's well taken. I will say that there are people who are being hit much more because their usage is higher, their population is higher. I will offer that, like, I'm happy to provide feedback back to Patty, and start that conversation. Patty, the executive director of MVLC. I will say that, like, this is a big part of why we stay accredited is to stay in a consortium like this.
I understand that, Jackie, but regardless, a 50% increase, it doesn't make a difference. It's still, it's extortion to some extent. To increase someone
What did you-
50%, I mean, if I ever did that to a client or a tenant, I mean, they'd flip out. You don't increase people 50%.
Can you say again, Jackie, the 50% versus, what'd you say, 17% increase?
Yeah, so
That's, she's
our
breaking
cha-
it down.
Our change year over year was 17.06 just for the usage part versus for the base, because everybody has the same base. The 13,223 was the base fee versus the usage fee that was where a lot of the increase can be generated
Doesn't
from.
matter what category, it's still 50%.
So, I mean, the only way that, you know, it changes is, and whole host of the member communities make a fuss. You know, if one or two make.
Well, I can't think that they'd be happy, Costa.
Oh,
I'm sure they're not. I
I-
don't think you're happy here seeing 50%. You're a numbers guy. And to see a 50% increase, I don't think any of us appreciate that in any part of our lives.
And the other thing to consider is originally we were looking at not having the databases, and now the IMLS funding, as we all got the email, has been restored. So was this figured before we had the funding or after we had the funding?
This is the current figure based on their budget, so I have to ask, I'm not sure.
I think no harm in asking, as they say. If you don't
Yeah.
ask, you don't receive. So I think it'd be ridiculous for us not to question a 50% increase. I think we'd be
Certainly.
foolish and not being fiscally responsible to our taxpayers.
Yep. I'll continue to dig, and I know Robin was on a webinar a couple weeks ago and can give me some more insight as well.
I'd appreciate that.
So
Absolutely.
can you come back to us next meeting on that?
Yeah, I will. I
Cool.
do have to submit a bare budget. So I will offer that I'm gonna keep it as it is, but I know it'll be a hot topic for our January conversation.
There you go.
Otherwise, I've worked really diligently to keep a level funded budget. One area where you will note an overage is in the fiscal 25 actuals under contractual services. We spent $52,550.47. And that was the contract we had with bibliotemps. We had 4 different bibliotemps over the course of the year. I wanna take a moment and offer that we will not have those in the current fiscal year that we're in. And a lot of that will show up in the overtime budget because we've been backfilling with our existing staff instead of bringing in temps. That was a conversation I'd had with the staff about, like, how do you want to proceed? Because bibliotemps can be very costly because they're basically the third-party management company. It's a state program, it's state funded, but they do upcharge us from what we would pay someone directly. And I just do want to thank the staff because they've taken on a lot of extra hours to make it all go. And made sure that we didn't have that expense a second year in a row. And of note, I did work on a reserve for that bibliotemps, so it does show up in your actuals, which kind of skews the numbers, which is why I made that note. Because outside of that area of contractual services, we did stay relatively on budget last year.
You did a great job.
I will also offer that this is not your capital budget, which is due later, and the first draft of that will be coming in January. But I'm letting Peter Coleman, our new facilities director, get his feet under him. He already came to me on his, I think, second day about the gutters of this building and its roof, and I said, oh, I can't wait to send you the conditions assessment that we've just had done. So he is hitting the ground running. I had an issue with the elevator and the thermostat in the director's office, and he's already been super responsive. And so he's trying to pull together with Paul Goodwin and myself his operating budget for next year. And then he's gonna dig further into capital and will help me with some capital requests, as previously discussed. The other piece that's on here is right now I just have a placeholder with the green highlight for materials spend. And I just want to make a note that that material spend of 118 is a placeholder, because once the union salary numbers are completed, and any other changes to the budget are completed, then I can calculate the books and materials number. That's a state requirement to maintain our certification. I wanna offer that it will likely be going up, because everything else is going up and salaries are going up. So I don't have a plug. I didn't wanna do a guesstimate, but that will, also do an overall increase to the library budget. And if you look at fiscal 25 actual versus fiscal 25 budgeted for books and publications, we were coming in just in the nick of time. We spent roughly $116,265, and we needed to spend 117. And I will tell you, I went through every single FY 25 expense with Jen Inglis, the state data specialist, when I was doing the ARIS report. There was not another dime in this budget that I could move into books and publications, which made it a very tight ARIS reporting season. And if we are not open the hours that we're open and get the waiver for our accessibility of hours and days of the week, that number of spend on books and publications would not be sufficient. And that's something that I've been working on a how-to guide for the new director on the budget here in Middleton and the library, and making sure that like it's easier for them to find all the different components of information that they need. And it's something that every state document emphasizes intensively, but just from that, like Jen and I really poured through our budget when we did the ARIS report to inform. And so that's just one area that I just want to make sure you all are aware of too, as advocates of the library, so that you can keep your eye on it going forward. But if folks have any other one-on-one questions or feedback over the next few weeks, I would really value and appreciate that. I'm continuing to work on looking at last year's expenses, seeing where I can make tweaks, seeing where I can make adjustments. I will offer, there's a couple areas I feel like I wish we spent more in. Training and education was rather low. I think partially just due to staffing shortages, it was harder for people to get out of the building. So that's one area where we did not do well on spend last year, but I did not lower the budget from the prior year because we need to be spending better on that. We need to prioritize it. The same with dues and membership. I don't know what we didn't get our membership for. I know I already did this year, the trustees membership and the association amongst others. So
Well,
it's
it's only $100. That's not gonna, well, make or break our budget.
But if there's others that we're missing that we should be doing, and that way it's,
Yeah.
and I think when a new director comes in, that spend will shift as well.
I agree with you 100%. I think that there's a big picture here that a new director,
Yeah,
and it was gonna take 6 months. We're not gonna have,
there's some
Yeah.
maintenance of status quo here a little bit. And so with that being said, I have a preliminary work I need to submit to myself, the finance director and the finance director. And then her and I are working in a take off one hat, put on the other hat. Assistant Town Administrator Bresnahan will be working with Finance Director Wood to continue working on salaries as we go through the negotiations process. So hopefully we'll have an update for you in January
Do you
as
know when
things are
these
progressing.
negotiations are gonna be done, or is there a deadline for that?
Great question, Susan. I am anxiously awaiting to begin negotiating with the bargaining unit. Dates are a challenge during the holiday season. I also have one rep for the unit that represents them that does 2 of my other units as well. So this is not a library unique problem. I am bargaining with everyone right now, in addition to my other responsibilities. So we have not missed the window for the Maytown meeting, and that's what's important to me right now.
Yeah.
I had hoped to have everybody resolved before the first budget Saturday, the first weekend of February. I think a naiver version of me 3 months ago felt that was an achievable goal. She does not think that anymore. But I think I can still get everybody across the finish line in time for the Maytown meeting timeframe. I'm honestly like painfully determined to still make it happen.
So when you're doing your budget, are you doing best case scenario?
No, not at all. We budget what we're going to spend. We do not put plugs in our budgets across the organization for any.
Right, cause I mean, if
Either
this is
we-
still going on.
Yeah, either we get it done before the deadline, before the warrant has to go to print, or it doesn't go on that town meeting, and I'm very upfront with all of our bargaining units about that.
Okay,
I
Yeah.
respect their time and they work hard to respect mine, and I appreciate that of them. Cause it is a back and forth,
Yeah,
and I
well,
appreciate
just-
that.
yeah.
But there are certain deadlines that we have to hit, or
Right.
just, then they get bumped to
So
the next
if
meeting.
the negotiation came that did not get by the time it's to post, then we would have to have a special town meeting for
fund
possible
it.
additional budget.
So sometimes we'll have a special, sometimes we'll wait until the following May. That's a political question of the select board and not one that I can answer.
Okay.
But
Right, that was the question I was going to ask, so yes, thank you.
yeah, so that's at the jurisdiction of the select board.
Okay, no, that's fine.
But I will say, as HR director, assistant town administrator, HR director, and as of like noon today, acting town administrator, it's very important to me to get as many of them done as possible. I would rather be miserable and get it done.
Uh-huh.
It's that important.
No, I know it is important, but thank you for
Yeah, of course.
doing double duty.
Is there anything you need from this board to make that easier?
No, not right now. Thank you. That's a appreciated question. Right now, if you could clone me with all respect, that would be helpful.
Figured that out yet.
If you do, that would be great. But
Unless you're a
otherwise,
book, are you a book?
yeah, no. The only other thing I will ask for is that I will be advocating for the library's budget. I imagine, even if there's a new director, I imagine I'll be working hard to advocate for the library this year as the person who's building the budget. So we'll have February 7th budget Saturday and March 7th capital budget Saturday. So as always, looking
March 7th?
February and March 7th. It's the way the months align is the same day.
So what's on 2/7?
2/7 operating budget Saturday
They're both Saturday.
and 3/7 capital budget Saturday. So your support is always welcome and appreciated, and certainly on floor town meeting as well.
Operating budget is the 7th
February.
of February.
And then capital on March 7th.
And
Okay, those are good dates to have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But more to come, and if you have questions outside of the meeting, certainly follow up with me. And I'll come to see you in January with more updates. That's where we stand on the budget for now. Yes. Let me just grab my agenda. As far as annual reporting, all of that is all set. Building updates, I already alluded to that, Peter Coleman has gotten started as of December 1. And on week 2 has already fixed things for me and been addressing longstanding issues and costing out items. So really thankful for him. Otherwise, as far as the building goes,
now, can I ask a question as far as the building goes? Some days at night,
mhm,
the lights are off,
yep,
and some days they're not.
yep.
Do they have to be shut off manually if the machine is not working?
So they are shut off manually when the staff leaves, most
Okay,
nights at
because-
8 or on
Because
Fridays
over
and
the
Sundays at 5.
weekends-
That's the machine turning them on when there's no one in the
Oh.
building.
Okay,
So like even like when I come in at 8:30 in the morning, if I'm the first one here, they're already on because the program is set to turn them on as the
Okay.
first custodian.
so even if like Friday night they're shut off,
They could-
Saturday they go back on.
Yeah, and I unfortunately do not live across the
Okay,
street.
and I just wondered because some nights you go by and they're off.
And there's some that are on all the time. So like this hallway light is on all the time for
The
emergencies.
fronts, you know, the front.
Yeah, the front ones.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but that's good to know if somebody says, why are they on the weekend is because
That's the
it's an
system.
automatic system and.
Yep.
That
We can't
this
shut off.
programming can't be
Yeah.
Updated.
calibrated
Right.
to the library hours.
I do think Peter's got some ideas of how to deal with it, but
Yeah, no, I just,
Yeah,
that was
it's
just.
gonna cost us. We're gonna need to put together a capital request and however that gets funded. It's not gonna be fixed, I think, until next fiscal year
Okay,
at this
no,
point,
that's
just to
fine.
set realistic expectations. As far as programs and service updates, We had the turkey trotters here on Thanksgiving Day, and I want to thank our two of our custodians came in bright and early to be available for that program. And then we had another group of staff members that came in on Saturday for the Winter Festival. We had 95 come in for the Grinch movie, which is wonderful. We did photos with Santa and showed the Grinch before the tree lighting. So to thank you to those staff members. We're very busy with our December programming, and if you haven't seen the December brochure, it looks beautiful. We're working on the January brochure right now in the building. But lots of fun programming. I do have a list of programs that if we have trustees who are interested in continuing their volunteering, I will send that out to the group.
I thought we filled them, because last month we talked.
There are more.
Oh, there are more.
There's always more the.
Oh, because I
following month.
thought we filled the January, because I'm signed up for January
Yes, you
something,
filled
February.
those and now we're going further
I
out.
didn't sign
further
up
out.
for anything, because I of course lost the email, but.
Oh,
Becky
I'll send an
did.
updated email with who signed up for what and what's still available.
Sure,
Um,
that'd be great.
And, you know, the thing I would say is this is we really appreciate it. And I also think it's really beneficial for you because there have been people who've come to programs and said how great it was to have a trustee that they were able to say hello to. But I also will just tell you, it means a lot to the staff because instead of sitting maybe in the back of a room, trying to work on something while listening to whatever's going on. If you guys are here anyway and you wanted to, it's a program you wanted to attend anyway, it lets a staff person cover a desk or have their off desk time and like get a project done. And I just, it's something that is probably for a couple hours of your day, but it goes a long way and it's really appreciated. And I just want to continue to extend that gratitude because it's really appreciated. And so I'll distribute an updated list if
That'd be
people
great.
have that
Right.
availability. As far as staffing updates, Robin and I have been interviewing with teen librarians. So we did first round interviews the week leading up to Thanksgiving. Robin did them with JJ Domino, who's working in my office right now. And then this week, Robin and I are interviewing the finalists. So we're hopeful to make an offer end of this week, Monday at the latest on the
That's
team.
a full-time position.
Full-time position, teen librarian, managing all of our YA collection development and programming.
That was
So
Felicia's position?
correct, yeah,
Are we looking for an MLIS?
we are.
You guys are the best.
I think we're doing better in that search because part of the union contract that we've already ratified for fiscal 25 and 26 is that we've solidified the pay scale. So a couple years ago, before the unionization, we solidified a non-union, a non-degreed and a degreed step schedule for the full-timers. And now we've really done even more competitive market analysis as part of the union negotiations. So I think right now I still have to advertise the old numbers until town meeting funds the new numbers, but having that like very clear master degree schedule that we did a couple years ago, I think helps advocate for that. And so I think that's helping us. I also think we got a good response to the teen position. I think it's just an interesting position because teen is such like a new ground for people that they're really loving that they get to do the collection and the programming with that one population. So I think it was an appealing position the way it's now structured from how it had been previously structured. A few
It's a
years ago.
challenging age group, but if you can.
If you want that group,
If you can figure it out, man, they're the most excitable.
Yeah.
They're gonna give you the most return.
and they're a fun group to interview, I will say, like, it's an interesting policy area to hear people talk about, why they want to be there. And you get to hear a lot of impactful librarians that have encouraged people into the profession.
So what's the date that you're hoping to be able to offer and bring someone on board?
I'm hoping the latest that we'll be making an offer is on Monday, the 15th. So I'm optimistic for an early January start date at this point. So that'll be good.
And is the union contract that the staff or the organization agreed to, is it online?
It is not yet.
When will that be?
Soon, I have a couple that I have to get up on the website. I can prioritize that for this week.
That would be great.
Okay, so staffing, library director update.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have one other staffing update, which is this, that we're doing some ongoing interviews for circulation assistants.
Oh, that's right.
So that one's still pending as well, but, working with Robin on
The
that.
2 part-time positions? You haven't gotten, have you got,
We've been interviewing,
oh, good.
we've made a couple offers, I've got more offers to make. It's just a funny time of year, people are and there's a lot of part-time positions open right now. So I had somebody who ended up getting a position in another library, like, it's just, life
Yeah, it
happens.
moves fast.
Yeah, life moves fast.
Yeah.
And then as far as the library director search update and review, a couple items for you tonight. So first and foremost, most of you were at the November meeting and had approved that job description. Allison was able to get me her notes a couple days later, so working on incorporating those notes. The
Well,
plan is,
If you would follow up with me, we had a couple
I
questions.
will, yeah,
Okay.
I just, it
Perfect,
hasn't
thank
been
you.
timing yet.
No, don't worry.
So we have gotten a couple applicants for interim director, no one with the requisite experience or qualifications. So at this point, I do not have a recommendation to make on that front. If that changes, I will certainly be in touch. But with that said, the window of posting the permanent position is now upon us again. So I'm hoping to finalize that posting, this week and have it posted sometime next week so that it's due in early mid-January. And the reason for that is not a lot of people are looking at the job boards this time of year. Like, we've kind of hit the point in December where people are either like super checked into it because they've been in a search for a while, they've been searching for a position for a while, or they're just, this is the time of year where a lot of people who are looking take a break because the holidays, the end of the year, it's just a weird time of year. And honestly, it's a time of year where it's hard to run a search because of people traveling and like even in our local ability to get everybody in rooms that we need them to be in. So if we post next week, that'll give us a due date in the second or third week of January, which I think it puts us in a really competitive position. And then my recommendation would be at this time to have a screening committee process in mid to late January and have another finalist process in early February.
And you're keeping the same screening committee
So that's a,
that was for the last time
I
around?
think we're changing it.
that's a conversation that we need to have tonight with this group, and then I'll have it again next week with the select board of what we want to do. I will offer that working with the screening committee, I do not think it was a failure of screening committee that led to us not completing the search successfully.
No,
I
not.
No, and if I can finish 1 second, I'm sorry. I also will say, like, I know there are other processes that folks have had in mind. I know Allison, you've brought up some suggestions. I wanna be abundantly clear, as I was when we met jointly with the select board. The process that we follow is important in the sense that once there is a quorum of this body on a screening committee, it is no longer a screening committee, and it will affect our applicant pool if we cannot interview people in executive session for the first round. With that being said, that is my recommendation.
Why couldn't that be an executive session?
Once there is a quorum of the appointing
This
body,
quorum goes into executive session on personnel
but you
issues.
cannot specifically go into the executive session for the purpose of screening applicants with a quorum of the appointing authority.
That does not make sense to me.
This is the same item that we had spoken about
Correct.
previously.
And it didn't make
in the
sense
joint
then.
meeting.
It's still.
Well,
So now-
sometimes the law doesn't make sense, but it is the law. And people,
Open meeting law, you mean?
No.
Yes, it is
It's
a
not
function of open meeting law.
law.
It's a function of where open meeting law and the purposes for going into executive session within that open meeting law. And if, Allison, if you want, I can resend you the
No.
citations.
I did my own research
Okay,
and I know I'm wrong.
Okay.
I just don't, I'm just commenting that it doesn't make sense to me. Because
understood.
this board is the most qualified.
And I think where the open meeting law is not caring about your qualification, it's caring about what a screening committee looks like under open meeting law and whether or not it violates itself. And unfortunately, it is one area of Mass General Law, like many areas of Mass General Law, where reason and common sense do not always
It's very
win the
convoluted.
day. Yeah.
Very convoluted. Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with Marie and Maria, that's okay, sorry.
That's okay.
And
Susan.
Mark
And
was the
Mark,
other, yeah.
Mark, on from this board.
From this board.
Mhm.
You know, personally, I think, you know, if all the people that were on the previous screening
Mhm.
committee are willing to do it again,
Mhm.
that's the best solution,
Mhm.
because they've already worked together
Mhm.
and kind of, you know, talked about what it is that we're looking
They
for.
already know what was lacking and therefore what we're looking to
So
supplement.
you're starting from a higher level than if it's, you know,
Abs-
seven,
yeah.
you know.
It was a
new
good,
people.
I think it was a good screening committee. Annie was on it with me, along with Mark from being from this room, and I think, you know, Annie, I thought, and if you wanna say, Annie, I think it worked well when we got
But
together.
it
as a
will
screening
the
committee.
others, I'm thinking.
If
not-
they're available,
I'm
they
not,
could be away, I
I'm
don't
not
know.
thinking of us, but I'm thinking of the townspeople. Will they be willing to donate more time to this?
It was, two other townspeople and Annie. And
So
I can't speak for Annie, but she may say
Oh,
she's,
What I have to go, I would go back to my committee and
be redesignated.
yeah, but I'm saying, it sounds like you would be interested. I mean, it
Who
went
was
well. when we-
Rachel Nemeth?
It was
Well, there
Rachel
were people that were interested
from your committee?
from our committee, but unfortunately they had commitments in the summer.
Yeah, oh,
So they didn't feel comfortable because they felt.
I
they
am
had
though with
missed.
Costa's point.
So it could be that perhaps those people would be interested.
someone might out.
And I would trust any of them.
You know,
Right,
we can't force the people, but you know, if
no.
everybody is willing to do it, we should try to keep the.
I think it went,
Seven
I
people.
mean, as part of the screening committee, cause I was in it, I thought it went very, very smoothly, we all worked very well
So-
together.
I'll put on your January agenda,
Okay.
because that'll be right before the deadline. So the select board will meet next week. And if there's consensus in this room to maintain the screening committee, I'll put an item on their next agenda, which is the 16th of December, and an item on your early January agenda to reappoint and reaffirm the screening committee that we saw the last time.
Okay,
With the understanding that I'm gonna reach out to all of them, and if somebody's not available, they gotta let me know.
right,
So that the select board and this body have time to redo the work that they
a
need to
citizen at
do.
large,
Mhm.
honestly.
The
yeah.
citizen at large, if the reps from the committee, like I'll put out the dates too, because if there's a member of either this board or the other board that can't do those dates, then they need to hopefully.
But what, do you have dates in mind for that?
I
screening?
do,
Oh, could you
um,
get that to me? I appreciate it.
So what I will offer is this, so today is the 8th of December.
Mhm,
It's my intention to post by next week, which is the week of the 15th.
mhm.
That would put us at a due date of,
For receiving resumes, not so much meeting
for receiving resumes by the 15th
of
of January.
January.
And then my anticipation would be, is if I close the posting on the 14th or the 15th, have a screening committee meeting on the 15th or 16th to review resumes and pick who they would like to interview.
Okay,
And then the week of the 26th, have screening committee interviews.
26,
Mhm.
okay,
And then have finalist interviews either the week of the 2nd or the week of the 9th of February.
and that's just the screening committee.
No.
Oh, that would be the
2
joint,
and 9 would be this body jointly with the
Right.
select board.
right, okay, good to know, so we can kind of check our calendar. Great,
How did you like the questions from last time?
within the screening committee or to the joint board?
So I think Maria, you are the only one that has insight to both, so,
Correct, any,
and Annie. So screening committee. I would say I'll ask the screening committee, but for the finalist rounds that everyone saw, how did you like?
I
the
think there were
questions?
too many multi-part questions.
I agree, I thought it was very.
I was
confusing.
wondering if that would be your feedback.
Absolutely.
I think each candidate, it was, I think, because they're like repeat, it was too many sections, too long.
Well, okay, so with that said, there may be some that it's worth having both parts. So I'm
To
going
break it
to,
up.
is the list being shorter questions, okay?
Yeah,
I would like a compromise on that. I wouldn't like to make it too many more questions.
But on the worst of the ones.
How many
But if,
questions were there? About a dozen?
If there were 2 or
It was like
3,
15
you
questions.
know, there's like 18.
18?
So, yeah, keep it
18?
to 20 if
okay,
you can.
20, and then they get to ask their questions.
And 20 not multi-part questions.
Right,
You got
I
it.
think 10 questions total is more than enough.
But you have,
That's a lot of
but
questions.
there's 10 of us.
But it can go around, it goes around.
No,
Oh,
I-
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's 9 of us.
Yeah, so I think
Nine.
18 was where I got to.
Oh,
because
is that how
then
you got?
everybody got two,
Gotcha,
questions.
and that
gotcha.
felt equitable.
Okay,
But I'll, if you have the questions, I'd emailed them. And handed out hard copies. Take a look. If you have feedback, just get back to me.
sure.
It's not urgent, but it's just
And
something.
I again have one thing that was brought up, that this is how we always do it. From, with the select board and the library trustees. And I feel, and the argument was, well, don't you want the person that decides the budget to be on? And I didn't think at the time that was a good enough answer.
I'm sorry, can you explain a
She's,
little
I
more?
think Sue's wants to bring that back up again, that we be the board to do the interviews, if I'm correct.
Yes,
And not the select board.
Well, I know I didn't understand it very well and made kind of more of a confusion about it, but I do agree with you.
and that's just where I'm coming from. Because that's that's the role, one of the roles, or the major roles of the trustee board.
As if
And,
we make the final decision.
yeah. And
How would you see that happening?
Very simple. Like we did the interview, the candidates interview, and it's just the trustees.
So it's a joint meeting for the interview?
No, no. She's saying just the trustees for the interviews.
Okay, so the screening committee comes straight to the Board of Trustees?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I'm
pretty
in on that.
straightforward.
No, I understand.
And that's my in, because this is what was said. Oh, well, this is how we do it. And that we've done it in the past. Well, precedent doesn't,
Go on to perpetuity, you can change. make changes.
yeah, so that, that's just my,
It was done under a
opinion.
different administration. So
Right.
it
May
can
I
certainly be.
Make
Go ahead.
one comment on that.
Go right ahead.
So hear me out. In this room with a lot of hats on my head right now.
Yes,
Full disclosure.
yes,
The hat I'm wearing right now as I make this comment is first and foremost as your HR director.
uh-huh,
Because I would be seeing you a lot more regardless if I wasn't in the building. As an acting director, I would be in the building a lot more because of HR items with all
Right.
this transition. I've done these public interview processes for a decade now.
mhm,
Number one, my greatest advice is to not shake up the process
uh-huh.
from how you did it before. Cause for a lot of applicants, can be a red flag. I'm not saying it is a red flag, but it can be a red flag.
I don't think so.
I disagree.
But that's okay.
I'm just telling you from my experience, having interviewed and hired municipal candidates for a long time. I'm just saying it, it's what I'm offering. I will also say this. There are only 2 department heads that are not fully appointed by the select board.
Mhm.
From an organizational structure. The library director, yes, is implementing the policy direction of this body,
Mhm.
but they need to function with the rest of the department head cohort in the bigger organization. We are talking about someone who manages, this year it was roughly $799,000, just operating budget.
Excuse me.
Next year, it's gonna be even higher. Almost $1 million of a $45 to $50 million budget is being managed by the person in that role.
Mhm.
To not have that person also have the insight that's going into hiring the other department leaders of the organization makes it really hard for there to be good cohesion and collaboration. And I think if you're an elected body, the select board's an elected body. I'm appointed by both of you in various things right now, so like I can't untangle myself from all of
We're
that.
wearing so many hats.
I'm wearing a lot of hats. But I will offer that charting a course as an elected body in disagreement with another elected body is very challenging from a staff perspective, because I have 2 people that are speaking to what they want and they don't agree. So this is between you as elected officials and the other elected officials. I'm here pretty much all the time. You call me if you need me, happy to weigh in. But one, I think it has to be a conversation with the select board if you want to change the process.
Yes, we do that again, as we
And-
did before.
Number two, I do think that if there's a version of this playing out where you're gonna change the process at this point in the process. And you're going to disclude more people from being involved, which is what this would do. Then we would also need to figure out another way to include more people. Because if the process is just screening committee, interview with the trustees pick, I would offer that's not enough community input in a position that is not only integral to this board and this building and this staff, but integral to so much collaboration in how things residents expect to happen are happening. And so for me,
I'm sorry, residents expect to happen?
yeah, like the collaboration that we have with something like Winter Festival on Saturday, which is a collaboration with some outside organizations and nonprofits, but also a number of department heads. The Chief Wills, which is a collaboration with some outside organizations and a number of department heads. There are things that the library does for other departments that the other departments do for the library. You're getting a free snow blower because I asked the DPW nicely about their one that they didn't need anymore. So that relationship, that
What
social
is that?
network.
I'm sorry, Jackie. You're going far afield for me. What does that have to do
What I'm
with
saying is that this
them
person,
collaborating?
You
That
don't
makes
think
no
person-
sense to me. I'm sorry, you completely
No,
lost me. You're
let me
way far afield.
Let me make it more simple than that. The more community input in a public facing position like this, the better. Because this position not only faces so many members of the public and so many people, like the people in this room and the department heads, that if they're not collaborating effectively with the wider team, there's things that happen that won't happen anymore.
So if you look at this past process, the person that the trustees wanted and the person that the select board wanted was the same person.
Not
That
all
did
of
happen
us.
this time.
Not all of us.
I didn't say unanimous,
Yeah,
but
You could
the
say
majority of the,
So then
Trust-
we're fine on our own then.
Select board had 2 representatives and would again on the screening committee, so the select board would be well represented
That's right.
on the screening committee.
the
So they're not-
outcome doesn't change, didn't change, whether, you know,
Might have.
So that the outcome didn't change, then we can do it on our own, the trustees.
but there
I
are,
don't think we're gonna win this, but I just want, I say, yes,
Have the
stay,
discussion, why not?
stay how it is, but
If we don't change it this time, then in 10 years, they're gonna say, well, this is the way you've done it over and over. So that's not a reason to do it, to not make any changes. If we don't change it now, before we get to posting and
Yeah.
everything,
Mhm.
then it's too late also. It has to be a decision made now as we go into the posting process.
January.
So then may I,
But may I also
Please.
say that we're elected, not appointed. If we were select board appointed, then of course the appointing board would want to be in on the decision. But we're elected, so we represent the taxpayers and the residents, so they're getting full cooperation and communication from this board.
and that's where I would say that as someone who is responding and taking direction from 2 different elected bodies who disagree on the topic. Would I suggest that if that's how you want to proceed, that if folks are available to come, the select board meeting next Tuesday. And because it puts me in a very difficult position where I am getting different direction from 2 different elected bodies.
Oh, you mean they've had the discussion themselves?
They
already?
had a preliminary discussion last week, as I was having with you tonight, about maintaining the membership of the screening committee. They didn't have any other discussion about process because my intention was to just repeat the
They've
process.
had status quo.
And so with that said, I have no authority to change the process without both groups.
Of course.
So if possible, it would be great to have you come to select board next week so that we can try to maintain the timeline that I've laid out. Because we haven't received any interim applicants I'm ready to recommend as much as
But you just
Would love
said,
to.
Jackie, if you could just back up, because you just said that we have conflicting thoughts on that. So you said they didn't discuss it, but you're saying they have.
They
conflict-
discussed just reconstituting the exact
Oh,
same thing
you
we
said-
already did.
You said they had.
And you had
conflicting-
had at the beginning of
We
this
have conflicting
conversation,
them.
Well,
consensus
she
to
said we-
maintain.
Each board has conflicting.
And at the beginning of this conversation, the consensus I heard was to maintain the status quo with the screening committee, which I was going to reach out to those members and see if they were available and then have appointments available at the select board and trustees next meetings to like reaffirm everybody. Susan did bring up her point, and so that's where now I'm hearing that you do not want to do the process the same way again. So that's where the extent of my authority would be to ask to schedule a meeting with both elected bodies.
I respect what Susan is saying and to agree with her. I'm
I do.
of the same mind I was the last time that Sue and I said that at the select board, the joint meeting with the select board, Sue and I clearly said that.
Right.
But the select board wasn't willing to budge.
I would like to
Because
make a
in my
point.
opinion, and I will say it openly, because I prefer saying things in open meeting, I think that the select board tries to control way beyond, I think sometimes what they should be doing. I think that this is an elected board and that is, as Sue said, one of our number one things is to hire a director. And I feel as though, especially at that meeting, that joint meeting, it wasn't, appreciated some of the things that were said by some select board members to not give us the opportunity to do just that as elected officials. That's my opinion.
With
They
respect,
may have the same outcome.
with respect, I'm appointed by everybody, at this time.
Hold on,
Jackie,
Susan
many
was gonna
have.
comment, so, sorry.
Go ahead, Sue.
Well, I say, keep the
Screening.
screening committee the same. But I think the person that the two people I think that represents the select board can have their say there,
Mhm.
but I think the final decision should be from the trustees.
And I'd also like to add on that Costa, you are in a double position and recused yourself, did not take a double vote. So in this case, you would vote with the trustees. So you would still, yeah,
I would have one vote in whichever way it does.
but I'm saying if one of the trustees would not have a vote over the screening committee representation, you in fact would vote with the library trustees.
No, you're saying it kind of wrong.
Okay, say it
Meaning
the
that
right way.
if we were to make the final decision, Costa, who is also on the select board, would still remain here in the library, but there would be a vote from the select board. Costa,
Well, in addition to the two on the screening committee.
correct.
Yeah.
That's 3 from the select board out of 5 that are involved in hiring, finding, hiring, approving. That's more than half out of the 5 members, 3. It was Brian and Rick for the screening committee, and Costa would still be a vote if we did it as Sue was brought up. That's pretty significant, 3.
May I post a meeting for next Tuesday jointly, so that you can make those points, as I have reached the extent of my authority.
What time does that start?
So they do 5 now, but I can put you guys later in the agenda. 5's too early.
You tell us, I guess, and people can see.
Hang on one
The
moment.
16th, correct?
Yes, 16th already.
I know, my goodness.
6 o'clock would work for, we have a couple things lined up in the 5 o'clock hour already, but 6 o'clock would work.
Okay,
Yes, that's fine.
thank you. round two, the select vote on that. We'll see how it goes.
Come early, enjoy my acting town administrator update.
I wouldn't mind doing that, as a matter of fact.
Please come on down. I haven't done one in 2 years. I'm pretty rusty and I'm happy to be, it's something I'm so happy to be rusty
I
about.
think you'll do perfect.
Thank you, thank you.
I don't expect.
And this would take place at Fuller Meadow?
Yeah.
At Fuller Meadow.
Yeah.
And with that, that's, the extent of my updates for this evening under the acting director's report.
Next item.
Okay, get back to my other hat. Great policy review and potential approvals, the Library of Things agreement. Jackie and I did work on this. I don't have a copy of it. I thought you might include it in the packet.
It was.
Oh, it was in the packet I emailed. Do you need a
I
printout?
got a Newburyport.
The Newburyport ones are the ones that we've sent because we, want to get your conceptual feedback first and foremost. They're another member of MVLC. So that was the most similar of the policies that we looked at. And I'm sorry, Allison, we weren't able to connect sooner than this week. So I recognize that this is nowhere near ready for your approval, but conceptually, the folks can review the Newburyport policy and forms. Just to give the board members some context, we are adding more and more to our wonderful Library of Things collection. If you haven't been by, we've already got our new board game edition out. But we are buying some items that are technologically pricier and more subject to be able to be more easily damaged because they're technology. We also have a new donation coming to us from the Affordable Housing Trust for the Library of Things. They've very generously provided funding to make a home accessibility kit. And I know Maria's on that board, and thank you, because I know that's been a much discussed item for months on that board. So we thank them for that generosity, and they're putting together a roughly little over $1,000 package of a tool set that can be done with the Library of Things. So like work gloves, levelers, screwdrivers, a drill, hammers, like all the things that you need if you are going to install grab bars in your home to make your bathroom handicap accessible.
No, I think it's a good.
If you're going to do any kind of like light and home maintenance. And so the policy here is updating because right now we have a borrowing policy, which is primarily books. And we have a hotspot borrowing policy, which is for just the hotspots. So we're looking at your feedback on the Newburyport policy for the Library of Things. And any feedback you have would be really helpful as this is a new terrain for us with these higher priced items. Like, for example, one of the new technology items that librarian Cole is looking at buying is a machine that takes your VHS and converts it to a digital file. There's only one in the system in MVLC. It's gonna be a really competitive item, but there's a real need there. And it's not something you're gonna buy for your household. There's also, for example, some additional Walkmans, because we have a lot of people take those out to do the CD version of the audiobooks, because we do a lot of traffic with those. So then you can come get your audiobook and get the Walkman to use it.
So you're asking us to look at this Newburyport Public Library circulation policy and the form this
Yes,
evening,
as
to give
an
you
example.
guidance in
Yes,
creating one for Middleton.
yes.
Okay.
Do you have a copy of the form? Because I did not print it out.
I don't have a printout of it. I have
Okay.
it on my computer if you'd like
No,
to see
it's
it.
all right, Maria, I'll share with Maria. But
It was in the email.
But this is
with
just
that.
this is not the policy you and I sat down and worked on.
no, because that's the edit to the other one, and I need to follow up with you about that one. But as far as the form goes, this was the form we looked at
I
together.
see.
And so
Thank you.
that's where,
Okay.
this is very preliminary.
So this circulation policy is not something we really need to discuss.
No, it's just if it's context to the form.
Gotcha. Thank you. I understand this. Okay.
And the piece that Allison, I don't know if you want to speak to about is, I know you were gonna be sending me some emails about other policies that you wanna clean up, and did you? wanna
I've been
speak-
away, so I
Yeah.
have not had time. to
So I
do
think
that.
I was a little bit waiting, not knowing you were away.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
But if folks have feedback on the lending agreement policy form from Newburyport, that feedback would be really helpful. The goal is that it's like a quick, easy form. There will be a waiver with some of the new tools as well coming from council, but
Mm.
that's just gonna be a legal insurance form. It won't really be,
Pretty clear.
Yeah.
If you hitch it. If you.
Yeah.
lose
yeah, we're not
control.
liable.
You were not liable if you
Yeah,
didn't
Yeah.
hurt yourself.
Pretty easy.
yeah, this is pretty classic and basic. I remember reading this and it was very, I liked the format. I thought it was nice
One
and
page.
professional. look-
Easy,
Yeah,
it's easily consumable too. If you're looking at it for 10 seconds, just quick fill out, move
Yes.
on.
yeah, well, there were a couple libraries that I looked at that did not have anything as professional.
Yeah,
As professionally neat as
And
this.
when the form
they do.
is approved by this body, we're also gonna have it like a digital, so you can fill it out online as
Of
well.
course, I
Yeah.
would hope, yes. Yes.
Do we
So
need to have any action on this evening, Jackie?
this is just your first hearing of the form, so if
Okay.
you like it in concept, then I'll work with the staff to do a Middleton version
Should we
for.
make a motion to accept this form
No.
to continue to work with the fuller policy?
No, there's no motion to be made. Just
We
go-
don't have to edit this, we can accept
We
this.
have to, no, we can't. Our name is not on it, so it has. to
When
be
it's only
edited.
the
Well,
first,
yeah,
it's only
technically
draft.
it's a policy, so this is only the first time you're seeing it.
Yeah.
So we technically have to bring it in front of you
Yeah.
in January.
No, I know that, but I'm saying, do you need a motion
No,
or anything
no.
for this? Okay, no.
not that
Nothing
I'm
to make a
aware of.
motion.
The, how common is a $5 late fee?
Pretty common for more expensive items that have a shorter window of borrowing.
But I'm saying, my question, is it too little of a late fee?
Oh, interesting.
Try to collect it. Much more.
It's only, if they lose it or damage it, they pay for the whole thing, and that will be in the policy. So the late fee is only a very small piece of it. It's to encourage people not to be more than a day or two late with it. Yeah, but there will be in the full policy that Jackie and I are working on, much more detail.
And maybe we can grab some time before you leave tonight about getting together on the rest of the policy items.
That'd be fine, yeah, absolutely.
I just didn't feel like what we did a couple weeks ago was ready for prime time. So,
No, it wasn't,
Yeah.
correct, thank you. There were too many big questions about
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure, like conceptually, this form, it felt like not out of line with what would be functional for us. And I know, like, one of our goals is to come back to you with this form again in January, so that some of these items can start circulating in time for February school vacation.
Good.
So that's. the
I
plan.
think this will just need some, like Maria said, our logo, our,
Middletonification.
Middleton, our name. Yeah.
How many, are there games, are there consoles, are there
Great. point.
tools, are there?
You can
and
go on
where are we-
catalog.
Where are we storing all this or?
So there's categories of things. So the first would be board games, which is a new category. So we've had the puzzle exchange, but now we've like the board games that are part of the actual catalog. And if you go up to adult circulation and you go all the way to the end, you're still in the new section of the building where where the windows are.
Okay.
That's gonna be where the library of things is stored and displayed. And then also upstairs, take a left at adult circulation. On the left, we have the video game collection and the DVD collection.
Mhm.
And on the left above, nonfiction, there's a bunch of the fidget and small kits for like kids going on car rides, there's something to do in the back seat, those kind of items. This next batch that's not on the floor yet includes more technology, the converter machine, like more technology like Walkmans. I think maybe another DVD player, things like that, like home technology. And then the Affordable Housing Trust approved items for the toolkit. And if you give me 1 second.
It's quite substantial and wonderful, Susan.
No, I mean, I'm just wondering how much space it takes up.
Yeah, so what we've bought, we know we have space for.
Okay.
Like someday, I know we wanna get into like the leaf blower business, cause that's
Yeah.
something that like you don't really need all the time. But we don't have the storage for that, so I know that's on the wish list, but it's not on the purchase list yet.
Electric or gas?
Electric,
Electric.
we would not offer the gas one. So the toolkit,
There's a battery operated one too.
yeah,
That's
like
what
something that charges probably. But the
Usually
tool.
comes with two.
The toolkit that'll come as a full kit includes screwdriver, measuring tape, level, hammer, flashlight, gloves for all sizes, protective eyewear, step ladder, moisture meter, radon detector, voltage tester, extension cord reel, knee pad, drill and drill bits, a tripod laser level. And so that way, like, when you take it out, you get the full kit and you can actually like finish the project in a weekend.
Nice.
So one of the things that the Affordable Housing Trust spoke to extensively was a lot of people don't have all of what they need, but they only need it once. And
Right.
so one of the other things that I asked Paige to look at when she was putting together the list was look at the most commonly purchased grab bars for like the handicap bathroom situation at Lowe's or Home Depot, and what do you need to put those kits in your home? Cause those are the types of little things people, like I myself live in a 1-bedroom apartment. I do not need to have all of these things, but every once in a while, it'd be great to have a weekend where I'm like, okay, here we go. I've got all my stuff. I'm gonna have a really
My
fun week.
question is, when we circulate it, it's important to make sure each item gets checked out and each item gets checked
And
back in.
barcoded, yep. That's one of the fun parts of this is where, bless you.
Excuse me.
Where does everything get barcoded? Does it get a keychain on it? Does it have another way of doing it? Like,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
a big thing.
and we like, so for example, one of the things that we bought when we bought new board games was things to keep the board games together.
Mhm.
So that's been a big part of the Library of Things expansion, are things that keep the Library of Things in good condition and with their parts.
Great.
Thank you.
I think that's a lovely, gift.
Yeah, and thank you to the Affordable Housing Trust.
Yes.
Because
Close the meeting.
I think it's great.
Are we all set? Questions?
Yep, no, that,
Anybody more another question? All set? Okay, then I make a request if anybody's ready to make a motion to close the meeting at 8:27.
So moved.
Second?
So don't need a second. Don't need a second.
27. Thank you all.
Thanks, have a Merry
Thank you
Christmas,
all.
Happy Hanukkah. Well, we're gonna see each other next week.